Oh. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So where are we in our text?
Is Oddity there?
She is.
Hi. I think it's page 156 in Oddity's book.
246. Wait,
Sorry, 256.
I have us on 265, I think.
Okay, well, it's
265.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Are we in the middle of a chapter?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Questioner. We were told that of all forms of spiritual practices, the practice of the attitude of a mere witness is the most efficacious. How does it compare with faith? Maharaj. The witness attitude is also faith. It is faith in oneself. You believe that you are not what you experience, and you look at everything as if from a distance. There is no effort in witnessing. You understand that you are the witness only, and the understanding acts. You need nothing more.
Let's stop there. So we are given the practice, Sakshi Bhav, take on the attitude of the witness. Well, guess what? You can't become the witness. You already are the witness. But we just don't pay attention to it. We don't notice it. I don't realize that all phenomena, gross and subtle, is not self, and therefore witnessed by me. In my confusion and delusion, I superimpose upon that witness the qualities of the body, mind, intellect. So the real practice is actually noticing what already is. I'm ever the witness. It's a subtle distinction, but an important one. Any thoughts on this? And Maharaj is pointing at that. All right, going on.
You need nothing more. Just remember that you are the witness only. If, in the state of witnessing, you ask yourself, who am I? The answer comes at once, though it is wordless and silent. Cease to be the object and become the subject of all that happens. Once having turned within, you will find yourself beyond the subject. When you have found yourself, you will find that you are also beyond the object, that both the subject and the object exist in you, but you are neither.
So what he means here by subject, he means the sense of an individual me. So many of us can go through a particular stage. Okay, I'm the witness, but I'm like this little individual lump of consciousness. It's different from you and you and you and you. But keep at it, keep at it. Keep this renunciation. Keep it up. And at some point, that sense of individuality will completely fall. And all that's left is this vast, empty space of pure awareness. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
Questioner, you speak of the mind, of the witnessing consciousness beyond the mind, and of the supreme, which is beyond awareness. Do you mean to say that even awareness is not real? Maharaj, as long as you deal in terms like real and unreal, awareness is the only reality that can be. But the supreme is beyond all distinctions, and the term real does not apply to it, for in it all is real, and therefore need not be labeled as such. It is the very source of reality. It imparts reality to whatever it touches. It just cannot be understood through words. Even a direct experience, however sublime, merely bears testimony, nothing else. Questioner, but who creates the world? Maharaj, the universal mind, Jidakash, makes and unmakes everything. The supreme, Paramakash, imparts reality to whatever comes into being. To say that it is the universal love may be the nearest we can come to it in words. Just like love, it makes everything real, beautiful, desirable. Questioner, why desirable? Maharaj, why not? From where come all the powerful attractions that make all created things respond to each other, that bring people together, if not from the Supreme? Shun not desire. See only that it flows into the right channels. Without desire, you are dead. But with low desires, you are a ghost. Questioner, which?
So this is an interesting point. The term about which he's talking in Sanskrit is vairagya. The root is raga. So Aditi is involved with Indian music. What's a raga?
It's a set of notes, basically, that
It's a
creates
melodic formula.
Yeah.
And they use them to express different moods, different times of days, etc. They use ragas instead of scales, which we have in the Western world. But the meaning of the word is passion. That's what it means. So the goal of the spiritual life is not aragya. Aragya means no feelings. It is not about becoming like a stone. That's not the goal of the spiritual life. The prefix is V. Because of the Sunday rules, the vowel changes. So it's a transcendence of our ordinary understanding of passion. In my beginning course, the classic example I used, did any of you have a tricycle when you were a little child? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes. Did you eventually get a two-wheeled bike?
yes.
What happened to your passion, your desire for the tricycle?
Just went away.
Yeah. Was it some huge act of renunciation?
No.
No. Sat in the back of the garage gathering dust until they probably gave it to some other child. So this is what we do, the feelings, the emotions are the flower, they're the color of the human personality. It's not about becoming dead. What is the ultimate locus of our feelings? Parama prema. What is prema?
Love.
But it's usually the word that's used for our love of God. We don't normally use the word prema for another human being. Sometimes the guru, but not, your significant or insignificant other. It's interesting. There is no word for romantic love as we understand it in the Western culture in Sanskrit. It's the funniest thing in the world. So coming out of the chivalric tradition of the Middle Ages, you have the all these poems of the knight who's below the tower, pining away, suffering for the unavailable princess trapped in the tower. You know the story. We have sneati and lubyati. Do we have similar words in Hindi?
Sneha.
What's that same mean?
Affection.
Both have somewhat negative connotations in Sanskrit. One means kind of oily, the other means just totally attached in a negative way. I can remember talking with a student who was convinced she was in love with this boy who had dumped her. And she says, "Oh, I know it must be love because it hurts so much."
Mm.
Real love never hurts. Real love is genuinely wishing the well-being of the other with no thought of return. But most of us are transactional. You please me, and I'll please you. Maybe. You better give me what I want, or out comes the baseball bat. I may be sticking around, but my affect changes. It's conditioned. My response to your behavior. Sound familiar? It's not love. It's not prema. We need to learn to love as God loves. God has no taste. God loves people you and I would have nothing to do with. So Sophia has a new baby, 2 years old, almost two. And so she poops and she cries and she throws up and she has tantrums. Does your heart ever stop loving her?
No.
That's why so frequently the scriptures refer to a mother's love. Comes close. Wait till she turns 14. Then your IQ will drop 20 points and you won't be. She thinks you're stupid already?
I feel stupid. I don't know.
Oh,
what to
that's
think.
called humility. That's actually good. But she's gonna think you're stupid when she turns 13 or 14.
Okay, lots to look forward to.
Children. So the idea that there's a whole area of study called aesthetic theology or theological aesthetics. And when we're in the presence of beauty or a person we love, what does it do to my mind? It's a fascinating study. I was at the symphony on Sunday, and I heard the Tchaikovsky violin concerto. Just a stunning piece. But the young man who was the violinist, his name escapes me right now, was Armenian, and the applause was so strong that he came out to do an encore. And he did this prayer. I don't know what the words were because he just did the tune on the violin from the 10th century in Armenia. I have no idea if that time Armenia was Muslim or whether it was Christian. I have no idea. Don't know enough about history of that part of Europe. But hauntingly beautiful. I was in tears just listening to it. And then he finishes it, and the last note dies away, and just quiet in the symphony hall. Then the thunderous applause. That moment, the taste of myself. People just don't know it. All right, going on.
Questioner. Which is the experience that comes nearest to the Supreme? Maharaj. Immense peace and boundless love. Realize that whatever is true, noble, and beautiful in the universe, it all comes from you. That you yourself are the source of it. The gods and goddesses that supervise the world may be most wonderful and glorious beings. Yet, they are like the gorgeously dressed servants who proclaim the power and the riches of their master.
So back to our idea of a mother's love. So there may be a mother with a child, a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, and the mother may be quite plain, in the world's eyes, not beautiful at all. Her hair may not be done. She may be overweight, not dressed well. But if you look into the eyes of the child, to the child, it's mommy, the most adorable. So all our notions of what makes someone lovable, we see it all is in the mind of the lover. Older couples. I remember seeing pictures of Jimmy Carter and Rosalind Carter. How physically affectionate they were in their 90s to each other. They were still adorable after some 70 some years of marriage. So what we think is attractiveness, beauty, is all something we've done in our minds. And there's a largely universal response to nature. There's something inherently beautiful about a sunset. So there's God's creation, then there's our superimpositions, and it's a combination of the two. Going on.
Questioner, how does one reach the supreme state? Maharaj, by renouncing all lesser desires. As long as you are pleased with the lesser, you cannot have the highest. Whatever pleases you keeps you back. Until you realize the unsatisfactoriness of everything, its transiency and limitation, and collect your energies in one great longing, even the first step is not made. On the other hand, would you answer that?
Yes, I say frequently, self-realization is not difficult. Krishna in the Gita says easy to perform, but it's very rare. It's not rare because it's difficult. It's rare because nobody wants it. I may think I want it, but not as much as I want. Attention, stuff, affection, approval, money, position. If you want to know what your God is, add another O to the word. G-O-O-D. My good is my real God. What is it that drives me? And what Maharaj is saying here, we have to renounce our attachment to it all without exception. And it can't be done out of willpower. That will fail us. It can only be done through deep insight. Shankara, in his qualifications of a fit student, talks about shama, that peaceful state of mind when it rests in steady contemplation of the goal after having muhur again and again detached itself from the chaos of the sense objects through a steady observation of their defects. That doesn't mean sex is bad, money is dirty. Doesn't mean that at all. It means the world, to see the world is inherently neutral. I decide what's desirable. And then I have to deal with the fact every objective phenomenon is finite and temporary. It's always changing, and my mind is always changing. In an earlier chapter, he said, happiness and misery are the same thing. If I go to the world for happiness, I will experience suffering. It's like the heads and the tails of a coin. I only want coins with heads on them, no tails. Sorry. And through repeated disappointment, we got to pay attention, or you won't see what's causing it. Won't see what's causing. We develop mature vairagya. And that becomes the engine. I park my desire in the infinite instead of the world. Any thoughts on this? All right, next verse, or not going on.
Until you realize the unsatisfactoriness of everything, its transiency and limitation, and collect your energies in one great longing, even the first step is not made. On the other hand, the integrity of the desire for the Supreme is, by itself, a call from the Supreme. Nothing, physical or mental, can give you freedom. You are free once you understand that your bondage is of your own making, and you cease forging the chains that bind you. Questioner: how does one find faith in a guru? Maharaj: to find a guru and also to trust him is rare luck. It doesn't happen often. Questioner: is it destiny that ordains? Maharaj: calling it destiny explains little. When it happens, you cannot say why it happens, and you merely cover up your ignorance by calling it karma, or grace, or the will of God. Questioner: Krishnamurti says that a guru is not needed. Maharaj: somebody must tell you about the supreme reality and the way that leads to it. Krishnamurti is doing nothing else. In a way, he is right. Most of the so-called disciples do not trust their gurus. They disobey them and finally abandon them. For such disciples, it would have been infinitely better if they had no guru at all and just looked within for guidance. To find a living guru is a rare opportunity and a great responsibility. One should not treat these matters lightly. You people are out to buy yourself heaven, and you imagine that the guru will supply it for a price. You seek to strike a bargain by offering little but asking much. You cheat nobody except yourselves. Questioner: you were told by your guru that you are the supreme, and you trusted him and acted on it. What gave you this trust? Maharaj: say I was just reasonable. It would have been foolish to distrust him. What interest could he possibly have in misleading me? Questioner: you told a questioner that we are the same, that we are equals. I cannot believe it. Since I do not believe it, of what use is your statement to me? Maharaj: your disbelief does not matter. My words are true, and they will do their work. This is the beauty.
So it's like saying, I don't believe that light travels at 186,000 miles per second. Doesn't change anything. Doesn't change anything. And I'm going to push back a little bit on Maharaj here. When the student is ready, the external guru will come. There's a story about Baba Muktananda that a Westerner came to him and said, Baba, I have traveled all over the world and throughout India looking for the perfect master. Are you he? And Baba's response is, funny you should say that. I've been looking for the perfect student. Are you he? And the fellow was honest. And he hung his head and he turned around and was set to go. And Baba called him back. Maybe we can work something out. But Shankara says success in spiritual endeavors is entirely due to the degree of the qualifications of a student. Other factors, such as time and place, while important, and I would add even the guru, are fundamentally secondary. So the engine for our sadhana is our desire for freedom, our desire for liberation. So, some of you who are more familiar with Indian mythology, is it Karna who doesn't get to learn from Drona and builds the little doll that teaches him archery?
Mm. I think it was somebody else.
It's some hero. But the point is, because he had faith in Karna, in Drona rather, he built the effigy and was able to learn to become a supreme archer. So don't worry about the efficacy of your guru. If you're ready, a rock can enlighten you. If you're not ready, Lord Shiva himself just mind like a brick. There's nothing I can do. Does that make sense? If you're not progressing, it's not the guru's fault. Any thoughts on this? It's incredibly important. And if I'm having trouble in my sadhana, the place to look is the qualifications of a fit student. Now, true story. So I was working with a fellow for a while, and he was recovering from 15 years of serious alcoholism. He and his family had been disciples of Meher Baba, the great 20th century, early 20th century Sufi master. And Meher Baba called himself an avatar. And so, this fellow says, well, I had the best. I had Meher Baba. He's an avatar. My guru's bigger, better than your guru. And the fact is, Baba didn't keep him sober. Baba didn't keep him from stealing. Baba didn't keep him from taking advantage of people. Something very important was missing. Armchair grace doesn't work. Well, I'm going to get vibhuti from Sachi Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. That'll fix me. Doesn't work. We have to cooperate with grace through our own purushartha, our own self-effort. This doesn't mean try to run my life on willpower. That's the wrong use of the will. It means to make the efforts to align myself with the Sanatana Dharma. with an intelligent way of life. Which in the end is profound common sense. That's all it is. We have a part. And Gita will use the term yoga balam. What does that mean?
Strength of the strength of yoga.
Yeah. You have to have courage, but you also have to have the willingness to do what's suggested. No magic to it. And we hasten slowly. All right, going on.
Maharaj, your disbelief does not matter. My words are true, and they will do their work. This is the beauty of noble company, satsang. Questioner, just sitting near you, can it be considered spiritual practice? Maharaj, of course. The river of life is flowing. Some of its water is here, but so much of it has already reached its goal. You know only the present. I see much further into the past and future, into what you are and what you can be. I cannot but see you as myself. It is in the very nature of love to see no difference. Questioner, how can I come to see myself as you see me? Maharaj, it is enough if you do not imagine yourself to be the body. It is the I am the body idea that is so calamitous. It blinds you completely to your real nature. Even for a moment, do not think that you are the body. Give yourself no name, no shape. In the darkness and the silence, reality is found. Questioner, must I not think with some conviction that I am not the body? Where am I to find such conviction? Maharaj, behave as if you were fully convinced, and the confidence will come. What is the use of mere words? A formula, a mental pattern will not help you. But unselfish action, free from all concern with the body and its interests, will carry you into the very heart of reality.
And the primary practice that we get from Shankara is subject-object discrimination. So if you look at the bowl on the table, you guys see the bowl?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Are you a bowl?
No.
Pretty clear about that? Can you see the candle?
Yeah.
Are you a candle?
No.
Can you hear the traffic noises outside?
Mhm.
Yes.
You are not the sound of the traffic. So you can go through all the five senses, and it's very clear that there's a subject-object relationship. When you were a child, you had a little body. You became an adolescent and your body changed. Then you became a young adult, your body changed again. Some of us are a little older, body continues to change. But do you not know the changes in the body? Just as if I were to take the bowl and move it to a different place on the table, you would see the change. Right now, take a deep breath. Do you not know the breath in the body? The fact is, your body is an object of cognition, just like the bowl or the candle or the sound of the traffic. It's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of paying attention to what is. Now, false ideas can be very powerful. I don't know if you remember back, maybe 8 years ago, when there was that conspiracy theory that Hillary Clinton was running a pedophile ring out of the basement of a pizza parlor in Washington. Do you remember this?
No,
Oh, yeah. It was all
it's great.
QAnon stuff, you know. So there was poor fellow. He shows up at the pizza parlor with a gun to rescue the children that Hillary Clinton had stuffed into the basement to traffic them. First of all, the pizza parlor didn't even have a basement, and there were no children. And Hillary Clinton wasn't even a customer. But it was powerful enough of an idea. This fellow believed it. He was willing to risk his freedom. They arrested the guy. So false beliefs can be incredibly powerful. No one ever says Maya is not powerful. But just because I believe it doesn't make it so. And one of the things that's so clear about our current political environment, it's almost as if two sides of the country have completely different information. And they're firmly convinced we are right and they are wrong. They're sincere people. But agreement is not a test of reality. Just because other people believe in it too does not in and of itself make it true. So Swamiji always used to say, you must be a spiritual scientist. You must have the courage to do the experiments that the scriptures suggest in the laboratory of your own mind, your own direct experience. Cast out any belief that's not rooted in direct experience. And be willing to have your mind change. Any thoughts on this?
What experiments did the scripture suggest?
If you inquire into the nature of yourself directly, you will find that you're not the body and you're not even an individual person. That's the hypothesis. Now, it may be true, it may not be true. Look and find out in your own meditation. The scriptures say the phenomenal world is not material, concrete, and separate from me, but actually comes about like a dream. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't true. Let's inquire into what is my test for reality. This is what we do in Mandukya Upanishad in the Gaudapada, we examine all the assumptions I have about the concrete separateness of the world. And we see that they're just assumptions. They fall. Does that make it clear?
Yeah.
But you may read in the scripture, there are angels and demons, devas and asuras. If you have no direct experience of these, what do you know for sure? I do not know. Are you going to go to heaven when you die? Be there with your relatives and Jesus and God on his throne? I do not know. No one's come back to tell me. What do you know for sure? What is your direct experience? So we look at things like, what's it feel like to want something you don't have? It hurts. Yoga says in the end, other than physical pain, let's put that on the shelf. Can you find any other kind of suffering other than wanting something you don't have, wanting to be rid of something you don't like, or the neurotic form? I have what I want, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. Don't believe me? Look to your direct experience. The scriptures say, your mind will tell you I'm unhappy because I don't have what I want. The scriptures say, you're unhappy because you're stuck wanting. And they prove it to us. Who has a worldly desire that's really important to them right now? No?
Yeah,
Yes.
they both raise their hands.
Oh, okay. Where does it go in deep sleep?
Just disappears?
Yeah. Do you like deep sleep?
Yes.
Do you feel content? You
Yeah.
wake up in the morning and you don't have to get out of bed, like poor Mark that I awakened. What object is causing that happiness? No object. It's the absence of the striving, craving, jonesing mind. This is your direct experience.
But Jim, how do you stop the striving and the wanting?
See its stupidity.
I might see it as stupidity, but continue to engage in it again and
When
again.
it hurts bad enough, you'll develop the desire to be free from desire.
Okay.
So the greatest contemporary worldly example that I use is the work I do with alcoholics. Before a person decides to get sober, I have no money, I'm out on the streets, my health is crap, I'm homeless, my friends have all left me, my family's not speaking to me. If you had my problems, you'd drink too. Alcohol is my only friend left. This is not uncommon, and people believe it. Then someone comes along and says, actually, the alcohol's the problem. It's what's causing all this. No, it's all out there. Bad luck. But if they can have enough courage to try putting the plug in the jug. Now, in the beginning, the craving for alcohol doesn't go away right away. Reliance on a higher power, reliance on a fellowship, going to meetings, working the steps. And in time, the compulsion to drink gets lifted. And all of a sudden, people's lives start to get better. Who would have thought it? But what's the operative point? It's when one develops the desire to stop drinking. That's where it starts. And that's what's operative for you and me. We have to develop the desire to be free from the tyranny of craving. And then we watch our minds. We own our dukkha, own our suffering. When I'm really, really unhappy, ego says, I'm not getting what I want. Yoga says, it's because I'm stuck wanting. The clearest example of this for many of us is driving in traffic. You know, you're driving in traffic and it's backed up. Who here has ever gripped the steering wheel and tried to push the traffic with their heart? I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. Who's done that?
Definitely.
Yeah. Does it work?
No.
And what happens when you finally say, I'll get there when I get there? Google says I'm going to be 20 minutes late for this appointment. You text your friend and say, stuck in traffic, nothing I can do. I'm going to be 20 minutes late. And then you go, the traffic hasn't moved. What happened? I let go of the struggling. Who's had that experience? There is vairagya. Now just apply it to the whole rest of your life. And then we have to learn to own our ananda. When I satisfy a desire, I get a taste of my own self-nature, called the Vishayananda, the bliss that I experience through the sense objects. And what it does to my mind is always the same. I just use the object to induce a momentary hit of the mind coming home, the mind freed from its craving. It always tastes the same. You mean good food, music, seeing a beautiful sunset, good sex, all of this does the same thing to my mind? Yes. It will vary in intensity and it will vary in duration, depending on how badly I wanted it, how accessible the object of desire is, and how completely it satisfied that desire. But you know when you're happy. The happiness is your self-nature. It's your swarup. Do you like having a baby? I can't think of anything that would be more burdensome. So there's no inherent happiness in babies. Who here likes to eat meat? Who here prefers veggies? People out there who love their steak. There can't be inherent happiness in steak. Who here likes to listen to Indian classical music? Who else would prefer Tchaikovsky? There's no inherent happiness in one style of music as opposed to another. They're my desires based on my past. But when I get what I want, Love it. All of this comes from witnessing and seeing how my assumptions about what will make me happy don't work. I mean, God bless him, but I think of a man like Donald Trump, most powerful man in the world, a billionaire, probably the only one in the country who doesn't have to ever obey laws. It's amazing. But look at his face. Does he strike you as a happy man? And just like the rest of us, he's going to die. I wonder how he feels about that. He's a year older than I am. All I know is I don't have to worry about dying young anymore. Gold toilet seats have not freed him from the tyranny of longing, the tyranny of aversion, the tyranny of fear. Why do you think he spends all this energy attacking people who criticized him? You know, a stupid ad during the World Series. And he changed his foreign policy because of it. Is this a happy man? But a TV ad can upset him so much. But look at him. He lived in a cave, wore a diaper, had virtually no worldly possessions. But just look into that man's eyes. There's a man at peace with himself and the world.
What led him to live in a cave?
His own karma. There's nothing particularly virtuous about living in a cave. But the point is, he was an intense renunciate. Another classic story is Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. You know, you watch the movie, there was one thing where the British Governor General says, "Arrest Mr. Gandhi." So they take him and they throw him in a jail cell. But they could not imprison him. He was free in his mind. So he's there with his books and spinning his homespun cloth, perfectly content.
Jim, I have a question.
Who's that?
Natasha. Hi.
Hi, Natasha.
Howdy, everybody. I and I've probably asked this recently, also in other form. So, this is the nature of needing to hear something a million times before it sinks in for me. But I have let go so much of the desires that used to motivate me. Like they don't, this has been a journey. And um and I'm in, what is basically a state of almost inaction because of not being tuned in to like the love of God or something enough, and yet having let go of so much that did drive me that I'm kind of, it's I have some clarity about what I need to keep, how to guide myself through this, but I'm, all ears on any guidance other than my
That's
own. Yeah.
really good. If our motivation has been fear of financial insecurity or the desire to be an important person among our fellows, these are ego-driven desires. And when we begin to let go of them, it's very common to have the feeling, even if you're a mature adult, what am I going to do when I grow up? No sense. So my suggestion is go back, revisit chapters 3, 4, and 5 of Gita. Now, I jokingly tell people that the Lord is not so much of a joke, but the Lord has led me through this life through my wallet. I'm not a trust fund kid. I don't have a wealthy spouse. I it's not been given me to go live in an ashram in the Himalayas or something. So guess what? I have to pay the rent, which means I have to have a job, I have to have an income, I have to work. So you might as well ride the horse in the direction it's going. Work at something that is of use to the society, serve the society. Do your best to work at something you enjoy. If you can't work at what you love, we practice loving what we're doing. But we live in a karmic environment. All sorts of people are being laid off. All sorts of people are losing jobs. Unemployment is increasing. So you may have to work at something that's not necessarily your highest and best idea. No big deal. Getting the right job is not the answer to all the problems of existence. We got to make sure we don't hold that illusory idea. Work is just work. Maintenance of the body is not possible without work for most of us. So you want to take up right livelihood. And if our karma is such, based on the force of the past, much of it from other lifetimes, that we go through a period where we have to tighten our belts, then we do our best to live through that with equanimity. I think I've told you the experience. In 1993, Swamiji said to me, Jim, I think it's time for you to take sannyas, to become a monk. So he said, go back to San Francisco, close your meditation center, give away all your possessions, give your excess money to the Chinmaya mission, and meet me in Bangalore for Shivaratri. So I went home and did that. But he, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, dies. And his successor says, sannyas is not something I can do. So I got to renounce renunciation. And after traveling for almost 2 years, I come back to the Bay Area without a pot to boil water in. 52 years of age. No, I was younger than that. I was 48, 47, 48. With nothing. And I was taken care of. It all worked out. But it doesn't mean that we just sit in the chair, wring our hands, and wait. That's not what to do. We have to cast our seed. Some of it will sprout, much of it may not. But we do live in a karmic environment. You know, it's not just what my individual karma is, it's the society as well. But worry is not an effective tool. Take some action. Is this helpful?
Yes, thank you.
And ask for help. For some reason, many of us who come into the spiritual life, one of the unconscious motivations is it's very clear I can't trust people, so I'll just trust God. But when it comes to our vyavaharika, our worldly transactions, some of us need to learn to ask for help. Now, you know that 25 years ago, I lost most of my sight. The biggest lesson I've gotten from that is I've learned to ask for help because I had no choice at that point. I could not function in the world without the help of other people. The truth is, none of us really can. Even the saints in the caves in the Himalayas go out for bhiksha. What's bhiksha? Yeah, begging for food, asking for help. They don't sit in the cave and starve. But trust, it'll all work out. But understand God's not your errand boy. Doesn't mean that you or I are going to get what we want. Nowhere in the scriptures does it say that will happen. Rather than asking God to give me what I want, my prayer should be, good morning, God. What do you want me to do to serve you today? Now, another true story. So we're going back 50 years when I was in the ashram, and one of my biggest fears was poverty, financial insecurity. And I wasn't working. We were living in a commune where we, kind of did a catering business sometimes. And I wanted to go out to the house on the avenues to speak to Rama because I had a doubt. I don't even know what the question was. I had a quarter to my name. So in those days, you could get on the Muni for 25 cents. So I got on the bus, went from Haight and Schrader out to 26th Avenue, which is where the other house was. Got my transfer from the bus driver. Talked with Ram, and I was getting ready to come back. The bus comes, I give him my transfer, and he says what I knew, which was, oh, this is only good in one direction. I didn't have 25 cents to get on the bus. So there it was, facing my greatest fear. And guess what? Nothing happened. It was a beautiful spring day. I had nothing to do, and I was young, so I walked from 26th Avenue back to the Haight. Took me an hour, hour and a half, I can't remember. Not a huge amount of time.
How did you eat and pay your rent and do all this?
Well, I lived in this ashram. It all got taken care of. Somehow, when I needed to focus completely on my sadhana, God took care of me. And I got food stamps and other stuff. But the point is, you will be taken care of, Natasha. I promise you. If you listen to your intuition and you're willing. But if this is a great big klesha, the Lord may be jerking you around a bit until you let go of your fear and develop some trust. Now, that's only out of my own experience. Oh my gosh, it's noon already. We didn't get very far in this chapter, did we? Okay, we have to quit here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.